Hello, this is Nia with the Rainbow Cauldron, and I'm going to be doing a past life reading for H. And normally with the past life readings, it's a together in a past life reading, so it's between the client and someone in their life. And my readings have to do with whether someone in my client's life was with them in past lives. And but H asked me to instead of worrying about someone in her life, she just wanted to know about her past lives, and I'm more than happy to do that. So I kind of came up with a spread to do, and I'm going to use two decks with that. The first deck is Shadowscapes, and the other deck is Crystal Visions, and very feminine spiritual decks. And normally with my Together in a Past Life reading, I always use the Druidcraft Tarot because it's got a very past life feeling for me. But with H, I really felt called to use my Shadowscapes Tarot for this, and um, and to use the Crystal Visions as kind of a further information deck. I'm going to lay out however many cards I feel called to put down, and I did, as soon as you sent me the email, the number 4 was really blaring out at me, so um, that I'm going to lay down 4 cards, and they represent your 4 of your past lives. You may have had more past lives, but 4 lives are what came through. And then I'm going to put 2 clarification cards on each life to get some more information. And around here we have some Nag Champa incense, which I feel like is a very spiritual incense. And I also have a purple candle with your name inscribed on it, along with some herbs from my garden. And in the center, on top of my selenite, I have an amethyst crystal, which is great for past life readings, and a quartz to direct that energy. Okay, so I'm going to get right into it. All right, the first life is Eight of Cups. Second life is the Magician. Let me bring these down a little bit. Third life is Eight of Wands, and fourth life is Seven of Swords. Okay, I'm going to move these a little bit here. So these are the main cards for each of your lives, and this is the main energy surrounding you in each of these lives. And I'm going to kind of go over this before I add in the clarification cards, and just give a quick meaning for each life. In the first one, the Eight of Cups, it's talking about either leaving something behind, or and moving on to something better, or retreating into yourself, a spiritual journey, um, uh, delving deeply into something. And we can see that by the mermaid here, delving deeply into the ocean with swirling cups scattered behind her, just really delving into something. In the second life, we have the Magician, and this could either mean that you were a master of your craft, whatever that craft may have been, or that you had a lot of responsibilities, a lot of things on your plate, something like that. And the clarification cards will give us further information on that. The third life is the Eight of Wands, and the Eight of Wands has a lot to do with movement, travel, um, uh, full force, getting the message out, getting a message, that sort of energy. And we see this, she's blowing dandelion seeds across the, so it's kind of a very movement kind of card. Okay, and then the final card is the Seven of Swords, and this one is the probably the most negative card, and it has to do with betrayal and uh, lying, betrayal, you know, that sort of dishonesty, stealth, that sort of thing. Okay, so and some clarification cards. Okay, so the first, I'm going to put one in the corner of the life and one in the bottom corner of the life. And this is just getting some clarification, maybe seeing it might reveal gender, maybe a job, your marital status, something like that, because these are the basic energies surrounding this life. And we'll see some details here. And for the first one, we have attached to it is the Eight of Wands. We see that again here. And Justice. And you know what? I'm going to read these individually before I pull all of them. Okay, so with this one, Eight of Wands and Justice attached to the Eight of Cups. And here's the Eight of Wands for this deck. This is the Crystal Visions. And I just want to show you the difference between the decks, since these are the same cards, just a different deck. This is Shadowscapes, and this is Crystal Visions. And on the Shadowscapes one, we see a person blowing the dandelion, blowing the dandelion head, and having that spread across the world. And then with this one, we have a lot of we have a group of horses, kind of in a stampede, and that really shows two aspects of what this card really represents. Whereas this one's more calming, this one is very full force. But they both have a lot to do with movement and possibly travel, that sort of energy. And since a card is repeated in this reading, I think it's worth noting that here's something that's repeated. And maybe it's something that's repeated throughout your lives. Okay, so with this grouping, Eight of Wands, Eight of Cups, and Justice, I feel like, well, with the Justice card, it has a lot to do with like law and order, you know, balance, doing what's right, karma, that sort of energy. And I feel like that in this life, I feel like you were male, and both of these decks are very feminine, so if I'm getting the male energy, then it's pretty strong. You were a male in this life. I do not believe you were married or had children. I think you had a tendency to get a little bit obsessive about things, and that's what we're seeing with the Eight of Cups, is really delving in full force. And I get a lot of activism from this card, like trying to win social justice for people. And I feel like you had a cause in this life that you felt strongly about, and you really wanted to make people aware, and you were possibly obsessive about it. So much so that your life kind of revolved around whatever cause this was. And it might be something that that continues in your current life or throughout your lives. Maybe some sort of obsessive behavior, or getting too involved with something. But that's the energies I get from that. I'm sorry about that noise. That was just my computer. Okay, so the next life, the Magician, and these two cards will clarify what the Magician is really talking about here. Is it talking about you being you being at the top of your job, or you being a master of something, or is it talking about um, a lot of responsibilities? And that's where we get the Ten of Cups and the Four of Swords. Okay, so when I see the Magician along with the Four of Swords, the Four of Swords is talking about rest and recuperation and taking time to sleep on things, because you see that the woman here is sleeping. And just sort of working out her issues in her sleep, and needing that rest. And because of the Four of Swords attached to the Magician, the Magician is very much talking about the fact that you had a lot on your plate in this life. You were a very busy person, possibly always on the go, lots and lots of responsibilities, and you were in need of a rest. And then it's attached to the Ten of Cups, which to me clearly indicates that you were a family person. You were married, had children. I don't know how many children, but um, well, I feel like maybe it was three. After I said I don't know how many children, I just kind of saw the three lotus flowers here, and that just jumped out at me. And I think you had three children in this life, and you were female. You had three children. Your hands very full, lots of things going on, and you were very much, you had a kind of a stressful life. It wasn't good or bad. It was just you had a lot going on, and rest was something that you really needed and you didn't get enough of. And I think that kind of reiterates some of this obsessive behavior from this life. Um, Maybe you were so involved with your family that you never really took some time for yourself. And that's an energy that was coming through to me just now. Um, just this connection with this previous life, and somewhat of a repeat of energies. Okay, so the next life, we have the Eight of Wands, and attached to it is the Queen of Pentacles and the Four of Swords. In this life, we have Eight of Wands, Queen of Pentacles, Page of Swords. And I'm really feeling that travel energy with the Eight of Wands here. With the Queen of Pentacles and the Page of Swords attached to this, I feel like you were traveling with a child. That's the Page of Swords, and it was most likely your child. And I get kind of this single mother, or possibly a widowed mother, traveling, doing lots of traveling with your child. And what I really kind of feel like with this, the Queen of Pentacles is a very motherly card, and she's very grounded, but with the Eight of Wands here, I think that's showing that she had a lack of being grounded, and was really always on the move, and just didn't really have a lot of stability. There was a lot of experiences for you and your child, but there wasn't a lot of stability. And And I think that was something that that you really needed, was a stability, but you just never found it. And yeah, that's a lot of the energies I get from this is traveling, you alone with your child, um, and never really finding a place to stay, never really finding that grounding energy in life. And that's something I feel is pretty strong with this life. And the final card, we have the Queen of Cups and Knight of Wands. You know what? This life is very clear to me. I'm going to put this right here in the middle. I'll try to show all three of these together. There we go. Don't know if you can see these. Okay. The Seven of Swords is talking about a betrayal, and here you are as the Queen of Cups, and here's the person who betrayed you, and this is the Knight of Wands. And what this shows me is that since this is a queen and this is a knight instead of a king, this person was either younger than you, or more likely he was much more immature than you. And that's a big energy I'm getting, is you were involved with this man who was too immature for you, and he basically betrayed you. And that's, I think that's, there's no other way. And since this is the card that shows here, I think this it affected you deeply, that he did this to you. And yeah, I think this life is pretty clear. It's you were involved with a man that that really had some commitment issues, and wouldn't commit to you, because with the Queen of Cups we have a woman who is very emotionally mature, and with the Knight of Wands we have someone who is either younger or immature, but passionate, and that's probably what drew you to him, aggressive, and really just not a stable kind of person. And I think that's probably what attracted you to him, especially since we have three lives where, well, two lives where you're really on the go a lot. This life, you know, really going full force into things, and this life traveling. Um, and I think you were, that those sorts of energies made you attracted to this kind of personality, this immature but passionate and strong-willed, um, really on-the-go type of personality, fierce, but he just didn't have the maturity that you had, and I don't think he had the commitment that you wanted, and that's the big energy I'm getting from this life. Okay, so in closing, um, we have a life where it was kind of obsessive, and you were a bit of a social activist, and your life kind of revolved around that, and you really got into it. We have a life where you were a mother of probably 3 children, and you didn't really take some time to yourself. A continuation of some of that um, obsessiveness in this life. And then this life, a life where you were constantly traveling with your child and you really didn't have much stability. And the final life where you were emotionally mature, still attracted to those kinds of passionate energies, but the person you were involved with was not as emotionally mature as you were, and ended up betraying you. And other things that I notice here are you've got quite a bit of eight energies. Um, you've got a lot of eight energy here, which is reiterating a lot of what I've already brought up is that the movement, action, you know, changing. It's a a number that really has to do with movement and bringing things from yourself, uh, and it's a very determined number, and I think that's the word I was really trying to get out was determination, and that's something we're seeing repeated is in here we have two eights, and it's showing that you really, it's almost an obsessive quality, um, obsession, and really delving into that. And then seeing it again in here, we're not seeing an eight, but we're getting that same vibe where you were very involved with your family and didn't really take a lot of time for yourself. And then just the movement and determination in this life, and that's a lot of what we're. And then in this life, you kind of gained a lot of maturity, and that's the energies we're getting from here. And I hope this was helpful. Um, this was really interesting for me to do. I just kind of came up with this spread on the fly, and all right, well, I think that turned out well, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for letting me read to you. Blessed be.